Welcome back to Red and Blue. I'm Scott McFarland. The defeated Republican candidate for governor in Arizona is refusing to concede. Kari Lake called the election, quote, a debacle in a video posted to Twitter this week. The defeated candidate said last week she's assembling lawyers as she considers her next move. Lake, who spread false claims about the 2020 election, lost the tight race to Democrat and Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs on November 8th. For more on this, Jim Small joins us now. He's the editor-in-chief of the Arizona Mirror in Arizona, where Election Day just doesn't seem to end. We've heard the latest accusations from Kari Lake. Where is this headed, Jim? Is it headed anywhere that's galvanizing people behind her?
I think it still remains to be seen. Right now, what the Lake campaign is doing is talking about, kind of saber rattling a little bit about litigation, and they are using social media to really put out stories of Arizonans that they said were faced challenges on Election Day, right? That folks who either had their ballots couldn't be read by the on-site tabulators, or people who were faced with really long lines, and some of whom were unable to wait in line and ended up having to go to work or go take care of their kids or go do whatever and weren't able to vote. But in a lot of cases, the stories end, if you watch them to the end, the stories conclude with, well, I was able to vote. And I was able to cast my ballot, and as far as I know, my ballot was counted. So we really don't know yet. I would expect that there's going to be some litigation, but we also did see a top advisor for Kari Lake going on Twitter just the other day, essentially asking her followers to go after the RNC and hammer the RNC to get them to open up their wallets to pay for the lawsuit, which tells me that there might be some challenges in terms of finding funding for litigation and maybe even finding the attorneys who are willing to take such a case.
It's not just Kari Lake, though. It's this whole slate of election-denying candidates that were there in Arizona. It was Blake Masters running for the U.S. Senate. It was Mark Fincham running for Secretary of State to be the administrator of elections in Arizona. Are there deadlines they're all coming up on? Because all three of them have, made a pillar of their candidacies denialism of previous elections and calls for investigations and lawsuits from previous elections. What soft or hard deadline are they approaching?
Yeah, so on Monday, the 28th, all of the counties, all 15 counties in Arizona have to have certified canvassed their elections. Most of them have done so. I think there's 4 or 5 that are outstanding that are all planning to do it on Monday. And then after that, I think on December 5th is the next deadline. That is when the state canvass will happen, when Katie Hobbs, now governor-elect with the Secretary of State, and Governor Doug Ducey and Attorney General Mark Brnovich will all gather. We'll take all of those county canvasses and we'll certify the final election. And so that's typically in Arizona law when the clock starts for being able to challenge the election results is once that canvass happens in the immediate, I think it's like 5 days after that canvass.
Let's talk about the Attorney General race as well. There was a tweet from the Republican contender for Arizona Attorney General, Abe Hamadeh, that said Arizonans demand answers and deserve transparency about the gross incompetence and mismanagement of the general election by certain election officials. I will not stop fighting until all voters receive justice. See you in court. Then there's the response from the Democratic candidate for Attorney General, Chris Mays. And it's pretty poignant as well, saying Abe Hamadeh's complaint is devoid of actual facts. It does not plausibly allege mistakes in the administration of the election actually occurred, and if they did occur, that they would have made any difference in the result. We'll be filing a motion to dismiss this complaint. So that's going on as well. I'm wondering, where are the challenges, if there are going to be challenges? Is everything in Maricopa County, that epicenter of previous disputes, that massive county in Arizona, or could it be elsewhere too?
Fundamentally, it's going to be in Maricopa County, and for a couple of reasons. One is that 60 to 65% of voters are in Maricopa County in the Phoenix area. The second is that this year, as I think everyone's well aware of, Maricopa County really had some problems in their election day voting. The printers that print the ballots off for a voter when they show up to vote, and about 30% of the polling places were having problems, and those problems led to those ballots not being able to be counted on site. And instead, they had to be stored in secure storage and sent down to the county headquarters, where much larger ballot tabulators were able to read them all. And those really are the cornerstone and kind of the crux of a lot of the complaints. They certainly are in Abe Hamadeh's lawsuit. They have been for Kari Lake. That's been a focus of her thing. Her agitation. I think Blake Masters is really the only one of those candidates who hasn't come out and really railed against the election and argued that essentially that they got cheated out of the election because of the problems in Maricopa County. And I think that that's likely because he lost by as much as he did. His race was one of the earlier ones decided.
Oh, in Phoenix for Thanksgiving.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
What's the temperature going to be tomorrow for the holiday?
Oh, man, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be about 70, 72 degrees.
Nice. Turkey outside. Jim Small, thank you for joining us from Phoenix.